What do chronic pain, low energy, restless leg syndrome, irritable bowel, bloating, gas, stomach pain, brain fog, anxiety, depression, migraine headaches, uh, rashes, skin lesions, what do all these have in common? Your gut. So what many people don't realize with fibromyalgia is that their health is largely determined by the health of their gastrointestinal system, their gut. And when your GI system is not working correctly, you're vulnerable to all sorts of problems that can generate the symptoms that we see in fibromyalgia. The first place to start to fix your gut is to take a digestive enzyme. So from working with patients for the last 20 years specializing in fibromyalgia, one thing that I see across the board is that patients are not digesting their food like they should. They've depleted their digestive enzymes over the years, so they have a lot of problems with bloating, gas, indigestion, and irritable bowel syndrome. Because you're not digesting your food, you're not getting the nutrients out of your food. Because you're not digesting your food, you set up the inflammation that oftentimes then generates the pain that we see, the diffuse achy muscle pain and fibromyalgia, or nerve pain or burning pain. Because you're not digesting your food and not getting the nutrients, you're deficient in certain key nutrients that you need to make the happy hormones serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, or even to make the sleep hormone melatonin. Because you're deficient in these nutrients, because you're not digesting your food, you run the risk that you set up a condition called leaky gut. And when you have leaky gut, the normal particles of food stuff that should be passing through your stomach, the good stuff you hang on to, the bad stuff you get rid of, flush the toilet, never want to see it again. But when you have leaky gut, now what happens is this food stuff that normally stays in the tubing in your body starts to leak out, and that sets up a reaction from the body of inflammation, because it starts to attack these particles that are leaking out of the digestive system that should stay in the elimination system, your GI system. The body doesn't know what to do that, so it sets up this inflammatory reaction that can create joint pain, muscle pain, ankylosing spondylitis, brain fog, anxiety, depression. Food allergies become a problem. It sets up a condition called yeast overgrowth or bacterial overgrowth. And now, because everything has gone downhill in your GI system, you start to see all the symptoms that we relate to with fibromyalgia. So one of the places you really want to make sure that you take care of is your gastrointestinal system. I recommend all my patients take a digestive enzyme. The other thing that when patients have a lot of GI problems, I recommend that they consider doing a leaky gut protocol, where for a period of a minimum of 2 weeks, ideally 4 weeks, they go off all gluten, all dairy, all wheat, all barley, all citrus, soy, and nightshades. I know, what do I eat? What do I eat? But there's plenty of foods, for 2 weeks that you can substitute, whether that's rice or fruits and vegetables, these kind of things. But in the elimination diet for 2 weeks, you also then use a thing called leaky gut formula, which has high doses of L-glutamine, which is an amino acid that's responsible for repairing the digestive cells, the GI cells that contact food. It also has special fibers in there designed to allow you to have a normal bowel movement, and also to repair any kind of inflammation that's going on in your intestinal tract. That's the leaky gut formula. The last thing that I recommend you consider would be something that would kill any kind of yeast overgrowth that you might have. Most people have yeast overgrowth. They have good bacteria that keeps it in check. But oftentimes, because of stomach bugs or taking prescription medications or non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, they start to get leaky gut. They start to get yeast overgrowth. They maybe taking antibiotics that kill the good bacteria and the bacteria. And so now you start to get an overgrowth of bad bacteria and yeast overgrowth. And you need to kill that bad bacteria and the yeast overgrowth. And you do that with undecylenic acid and berberine and golden seal, these things that are in the yeast formula that are designed to kill these bugs that are creating this thing called leaky gut that's leading to irritable bowel, bloating, gas, stomach pain. And oftentimes the inflammation that we see, or some of the inflammation surely, that we see in fibromyalgia. So I encourage you to learn more about the Good Gut Health package that I put together, for you. And if you got questions, certainly post them here. I look forward to your questions on Wednesday night. We had a lot of questions about gut health, so I wanted to make sure that I did a short little video and explain why I've recommended this in the past and continue to recommend these formulas. Thanks for joining me. This is Dr. Rodger Murphree, yourfibrodoctor.com, author of Treating and Beating Fibromyalgia and Chronic Fatigue Syndrome.